Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Riley, and I am the manager in human resources. So, today we're just going to go over kind of some best practices for managers on diversity in the workplace. Managing diversity is always a difficult way to, it just has more rules with it, and so just kind of understanding how we can manage to make our organization the best that it can be. So, starting out is the introduction. As we grow as a company, we will be constantly expanding and evolving. It's going to happen. With our organization expanding, we also need to continue our education. Updating our diversity training will help us to understand one another and create better teamwork. With having diversity in our workplace, we are given so many different types of people. This allows us to kind of open up our organization to larger hiring pools and understanding more cultures in the neighborhood. This training is very important for all the departments in the organization, just due to the expanding diversity within us. The world is constantly evolving, so are we. So it's just kind of time that we all get on the bandwagon and learn the best way that we can manage. So to start out, what is diversity training? What is it? Why are we doing this? The purpose of diversity training is to increase participants' cultural awareness, knowledge, and communication. Diversity training can benefit our organization by helping to prevent civil rights violations, increasing the inclusion of different identity groups, and promoting better teamwork. The main goal of a successful diversity training program is to create a positive work environment by helping employees recognize and be tolerant of different differences among coworkers. We can see differences and we can hear differences, but deep down there are going to be other differences like religion and other things that kind of coincide with that. We just want to be respectful to everyone, and this way, we're kind of aware of everything going on. So then we're going to talk about the why. Why do we gotta do it? Just like anything. Well, because we gotta. Diversity training represents the opportunity for employees to educate employees about diversity. Um, Kind of like, I'm an employee to all of you, but also, you guys are kind of just my employees. So, like, me as an employee is going to be training you guys just kind of more about the difference in diversities. But one big thing that we're going to kind of go over is, the best way for managers to include it. So, although diversity training cannot completely change an individual's beliefs, we get that. It does have the ability to increase awareness, impair knowledge, and educate employees on how to accept differences among fellow employees. Organizations use diversity training to bring out the best in their employees. Organizations also want to break down the barriers that separate us. We don't want that, such as ethnic, social, and political barriers. We just want to kind of break those down so that way we can work together and be productive as a team. The biggest thing is our teamwork. We really want everyone to get along and really respect one another. If we don't do the diversity training, there are some mistakes or problems that managers, as me or your managers, could face if diversity is not addressed. So one big one is going to be communication barriers. So that leads problems in a company attempting to create a diverse workplace. This can lead to misunderstandings and a decrease in productivity. For example, if I were to give instructions about completing a certain task to one of my employees who fails to fully comprehend kind of what I'm saying or asking of them, then the employee may make mistakes if he tries to complete the task without receiving clarity. And we just kind of want to minimize our mistakes and also minimize the communication barriers. As well, I'm going to have to learn how to, talk with certain people, kind of to break it down in words that maybe they'll understand, and then they, telling me if they don't understand what I'm talking about. On paper, workplace diversity may seem like a really good idea, as most things. Many companies experience challenges when attempting to implement changes. The implementation process may present challenges to everyone involved, and frustrations may arise because, implementing this is not as smooth as we all expect. It's never as smooth as we hope it would be. To help with implementation, employers may decide to hire experienced professionals who specialize in workplace diversity, just kind of having that second opinion, just so that way they can tell us, where we need to work and where you guys need to work on things. Some other common mistakes or problems. Although workplace diversity benefits an organization as a whole, some employees and managers may not react positively to changes made. Employees who oppose to workplace diversity usually reject new ideas and make work environments more difficult. To lead with opposition, companies should explain the reasonings for diversity and what benefits changes in diversity bring to management employees. Alleviating fears some people possess about workplace diversity may reduce much of the opposition. Everything is scary. And kind of one thing that I always talk about is just, things that are scary and things that like kind of freak us out. It's not about the way that we fight against it. It's the way that we work with it. You want to fight it. You want to, be above it. But really, honestly, working with the things that make you scared the most is definitely going to help. Kind of like if you're afraid of snakes, the more you're around them, the more you see that they're not going to hurt you, that they're scared of you, then the more that you aren't afraid. And so this is kind of one of those things where the more that we're around it and the better we understand it, then I think the better it'll be for our organization and the workplace that we're in. Another common mistake is once workplace diversity is implemented, companies must effectively manage the changes in policies. This presents a challenge for many organizations. Challenges in managing workplace diversity can stem from several reasons, such as taking the wrong approach to solving diversity issues. One example is like if our company adapt affirmative action policies in an attempt to solve diversity problems. Affirmative action is about giving opportunity to previous disadvantaged workers. Hiring based solely on race may not solve diversity issues. We're not going to hire people just because they are a different race or just because they're male or female. We're going to hire you because of the way that you interviewed, your resume, your education, your experience. All those things are going to come into play first. So yeah, we definitely are not going to be hiring based solely on race. And then next, we're just going to kind of go over some of the best practices for managers. One major aspect of ensuring that we're doing the best that we can while managing is to see if our employees' needs are met. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a great place to get a start on what to build and to ensure that everyone's needs are met in the workplace. Maslow's hierarchy, he made a pyramid explaining, kind of what each employee needs and starting at the bottom. So you need to have that base to build anything. So that's just ensuring that, the patient has food, water, they're breathing, they got clothes, they got food, they're sleeping at night. We want to make sure everybody's getting all those needs to physically just live. The next is safety and security. So that one is going to be, employment, health, ensuring that you have property, family, social stability, all that fun stuff. Then next we have love and belonging. So that one is going to be friendships, family, intimacy, your friends, your family, we all want to have good relationships with those people. Then next is going to be self-esteem, respecting others and having others respect you. We always want that. Then next is self-actualization, and that one is kind of like your creativity, your spontaneity, all that stuff, making sure that you are also doing your own thing and being your own person. Some more practices is going to be for managers is going to be practicing consistency, forming all subsequent rules. This is perhaps the most important one. Effective management relies on leaders who treat everyone equally and who encourage good behavior or discourage bad behavior, regardless of where it comes from. Then next is detailed communication. If an organization is to operate like a fine-tuned machine, then we need clarity, accuracy, and thoroughness in all communications. This, of course, covers all means of communication utilized. Making sure that we have good communication with our, coworkers, our employees, that's definitely number one. We want to make sure that we're understanding, we're talking, we're clarifying things. That's definitely a big one. Next is going to be encouraging teamwork. An effective way to cultivate team spirit among team members is to assign projects, which depart from department-centered mentalities. People learn the importance of collaboration when they are given a big picture purpose, So not only, creating the projects, but also, making sure that we have time outside of just working, to make sure that we're kind of getting along with one another. We want to be a team. We don't want to be fighting one another. We just want to kind of encourage that teamwork, instead of the one-on-one, conflicts. So next is going to be practicing transparency. A transparent manager is one who inspires trust and respects. Team members will be less willing to take direction from a leader who has lied. That's just given. If you're withholding information from your employees, well, you're obviously not doing a great job as being a manager, and that's just not okay. Next, we want to accept everyone's opinions. Encouraging people to express their opinions freely is a win-win situation. This idea, pooling, will probably solve current and future problems and will deter demotivation, as staffers will know that their opinions matter. We don't want anyone to feel like we aren't listening or we don't care what they have to say. We definitely want to, encourage people to tell us, what's going on and all that fun jazz. So next is going to make coming to work enjoyable. Nobody wants to go to work if it's not fun. Not fun, I shouldn't say. But if there's just if it's not enjoyable, you want to do something that brings you joy. So one way is to, make sure that we have a decent break room, casual chatting, lunch trips, stuff like that. Just kind of make it the fun factor. And then, just kind of to bring everything together as we continue to grow, so will the diversity within us. Ensuring that all team members are updated with their required training will help us to work together smoothly. As shown, there are mistakes that can happen if we don't keep up on the training. Not only is keeping up the training important, but also making sure that our managers are being fair and appropriate. Sometimes as leaders, we do forget that we are the leading and we're not just one of you. A bad day can affect the whole team. Staying updated on the best practices for managers will create an effective organization. And that kind of goes together. When I'm having a bad day, I don't realize if I'm in a mood or if I'm being cranky towards one another. I just need to kind of, look over my best practices as a manager and remember that, it's not just affecting me, it's affecting everybody. And I don't want that to happen within our organization. And that's kind of everything that I needed to cover about best practices for managers. I hope that if you guys have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, my name is Riley Satrowski. But yeah, so otherwise, thank you and have a wonderful day.